Hey everybody, it's Dan Martin. Today's video is going to be on training your hands, one of the most essential skills you're ever going to learn in improving your golf swing. The reality is most golfers that play have not correctly trained their hands, and their hands are creating a destructive force that goes largely undetected, and most people are very unaware of it. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to explain kind of why that is and how that works, and then what the physics involved are in learning and why it's so important to be able to train your hands. So when we learn the game of golf, the first thing we do is we're generally introduced by somebody that already plays, and we get this awkward looking, not heavy but not light object in our hands. It has a lot of weight at the end and it's very rigid. So the first thing the tactile human does is that it seems fairly obvious to I need to kind of direct this if I want to make it run into something. So I immediately get kind of sucked into the weight of the golf club itself or the club head and feel like I need to move that. And that's where things really go wrong right out of the gate. So one of my favorite local golf pros in the Southern California area, Jamie Mulligan at Virginia Country Club in Long Beach, says something that I really love, and I think that it's just absolutely essential, and everybody should kind of indoctrinate themselves with this. And he says that you've got to turn your devils into angels. Everybody's hands are devils and want to do something, but you got to learn how to actually turn them into angels. You got to get them to behave and to work with the swing. And that is a very unique skill unto itself. And I feel like the longer a golfer goes without addressing that issue, the farther and farther they actually get away from developing a really good golf swing. So what does it mean to have your hands behave? Well, your hands, in essence, are not separate from the golf club. They actually have to move what we're going to call proportional to the golf club. So when you swing the golf club, your hands, the grip, the shaft, and the club head itself have to maintain a proportional relationship. So through their position and their shape, it doesn't change. Okay? So the only thing that's changing is the wrist joint is working kind of like a universal hinge. What goes hidden for most golfers is that they try to actually maneuver the golf club with their hands while they're trying to swing. And so it looks like the club is maintaining proportionality between the hands, the grip, and the shaft, and the club head. But in reality, there's a distorting force go on. And we can see that in bad club face positions, a lot of casting type movements, a lot of shoving type movements. They're all related to the hands not behaving. So if something is truly swinging proportional, here I'm going to use my Pro here that doesn't have a grip on it. If I just swing this like it's swinging the ball, like kind of a ball at the end of a string, the only way this swings is if every particle of this rope and this cylinder here stay in proportion. If anything was to move out of proportion, then the rope would lose slack and all the energy would be sucked out. So nothing swings unless it swings proportionally. And again, our problem is that the golf club just doesn't swing by itself outside our hands, but our hands have to become one with the golf club. So things like grip pressure and hand position actually become very important. It's why they're some of the most, most of the old school pros say the most important thing you do is put your hands on the golf club. And I would agree. And then the second most important thing is your hands' relationship with the golf club. So when we use my training aid, the Pro, what we instantly get is the feedback as if I'm actually swinging something proportional. So if my hands, the grip, and the rope and the cylinder staying proportional. Well, if they're not, then it will form an angle. So if the grip is being moved faster and in a different direction, not proportional to the actual length of the length of the Pro here, it forms an angle. And that can happen at any time. It could happen right off the top. It could happen late in the downswing if I try to force it. But most players have these kind of hand actions where they're trying to actually get something extra by moving their hands faster, which actually delays the actual swing. But with a rigid golf club, it actually throws it into what we call a spin around its center of mass. So you're trying to use leverage to hit it. When I'm swinging my Pro correctly, then my hands, the grip, and the rope all work proportionally. And your arms actually swing proportionally before that as well. But that's another story for another day. So as I swing my Pro and I get better at doing this, I start to realize that, wow, my hands are not what move the golf club. It's the movement of my body from my center, and that becomes very obvious. Even down the line you can see as I keep my hands out of it, I swing on a very, very nice plane as well. So the biggest key any of you all can learn how to do is to learn how to train your hands. And it's very, very difficult to do if you just swing a golf club, because most of us are very unaware of what our hands are doing. We're always trying to kind of chase the body movement or move, get the head position right or try to get the hips in the right spot, but we don't realize what might be corrupting all of those movements is simply your relationship with the club head. So again, your hands are still devils and they're still trying to control and make it happen. If we can learn how to turn them into angels and make them passive, then we're going to be good to go. And that's why you all ought to get yourself a pro, so you can learn how to turn those devils into angels. Anytime you're swinging the pro, keeping it straight, you're starting to get the feel, and you're training your brain to understand what it's like to actually swing a golf club without trying to force the weight. And the magical thing that starts to happen is that most good body movement and most good sequencing starts to show up when you start to get rid of the extra stuff. All right, I hope you all found that enjoyable and educational. And remember, you got to turn the devils into angels.